I've spoken to the chairwoman about the possibility of my being able to buy one of those Corvettes that are electric vehicles that, when they come out. I'm not going to be able to do it because I can't drive a vehicle while I'm president, any more than I could when I was vice president.
I do not believe so. If you just look at the numbers across our state and across our country, we're going through a time when, sure, you're seeing increase in inflation, but people are working. People have opportunities out there that we're not there yet. I'm hoping that the legislation that's coming through and the deal that's been cut in Washington, D.C. is going to help with inflationary numbers. But I do not believe that we are in a recession yet.
We've also got to make sure we drive that transition to domestic clean energy. I don't think anyone's under any illusions that can be done easily or that it can be done overnight.
You have publicly said you support members of Congress not trading individual stocks.
No, I said I would look at that, but okay.
So if the Speaker does bring up a bill to do that, to ban members and their spouses from trading stocks, would you vote for it? Would you urge your conference to vote for it?
I think it's ironic that the Speaker of the House now talks about bringing up a bill at the very end of the term of Congress. So her husband could trade all the way through, but now it becomes a crisis? I think the Speaker of the House has greater determination of what comes to the floor, what gets out of the committee. And her husband didn't just trade stock, he traded options. I think what her husband did was wrong. If you say, when she said she never told him anything, I know they spent their time together overseas, and when they're coming back, I'm sure she had conversations on the phone about what was going to be on the floor. I'm sure she had conversations about what the chip version finally looked at. I'm sure she had those conversations. I don't know if he was able to hear them or not, but I think we need to bring trust back to this institution. I think we have to do a thorough investigation and look at what is the proper role for members of Congress and what influence they have. And I don't think the proper way to do this is Nancy Pelosi writing the bill, because we have proven that she can't do that. It should be a bipartisan manner, and we should look at it through committee. And this is something that we will do in the majority, putting new rules forward to make sure that you have trust in this House and the ability, knowing that people is not investing in a place that they have influence.
Will you commit not talking to your spouse about legislation if you become Speaker?
Talking about legislation, or will I commit to not invest based upon legislation? Yeah. If you notice, I only own mutual funds. We don't buy any individual stocks.
So just to be clear, if you become Speaker, will you commit to advancing legislation to ban members and their spouses from trading?
I think I would look all the way through it. What I've told everybody, we will come back and we will not only investigate this, we will come back with a proposal to change the current behavior.
The best thing we can do for the medium and long term is make sure Americans have more options through greater fuel efficiency and greater access to vehicles that don't require gasoline at all, so that Americans don't have to worry about what's happening in some Middle Eastern capital. I'm excited about the electric vehicle provisions because what this will do is reduce the price through tax credits of an electric vehicle. And if you see that lower sticker price and you can afford an EV, you're also going to be saving money for every day that you own it, because even at lower gas prices, there's still a savings.
Do you feel about the prospect of President Trump announcing a presidential run for the midterms and how that would affect the midterms? And have you talked to him about that at all?
Look, I was just with the president this week. The only thing the president and I talk about is turning this country around, is winning in 2022. If President Trump was in office today, we wouldn't have inflation. We wouldn't have a national security problem at the border. He loves this country and he wants to see this country back on the right path. And that's the focus he and I are both a part of.
What does that mean for a presidential run in the midterms? Would that help?
The president's only focus is on winning the midterms, and that's my focus as well.
I know you're a little tired of asking about answering questions about 2024.
Oh, I'm never tired.
And
never
President
tired.
Biden running, whether he will run. I was just, with former President Trump talking about submitting his paperwork potentially before the midterms. When will President Biden file his paperwork, and wouldn't that help kind of nip some of these questions in the bud?
I mean, the president has said that he intends to run. He's said that multiple times. So there's that. I'll put that out there. But again, we have some work to do in the next couple of days and